to Hume of Longford, 2 to David Byrne of Longford, who's having a great season, and 1 to Philip Lunston of Deloraine. The clash between Scottsdale and East Launceston. And here I think the scoreboard will tell the story here. East in real trouble after only 2 games, yet to signal a win. And yesterday they were completely outclassed by Scottsdale, with the Magpies running out very easy winners, 27-13, 175 to 10-20, 80. The goal kickers for Scottsdale were Kerrison 6, Hall and Coniston 4 each, and for East Launceston, Barwick kicked 3 and Gibbons 2. The better players for Scottsdale were Kerrison, Dennis, Coniston, Lethborg, Craig Williams and David Williams, and for East Launceston, Skeggs, Morrison, Barwick and Taylor. And 3-2 and 1 in that game saw 3 to Robert Kerrison of Scottsdale, 2 to Jamie Dennis of Scottsdale, and 1 to Mark Coniston of Scottsdale. The big game yesterday was the clash out at Windsor Park, the clash between the 2 unbeaten sides so far this season, City South and Launceston. A very good crowd attended the game, and it was one of the best games that we've seen in recent years. Our commentator, of course, Graham Wilkinson.
Yes, Ray, a great game at Windsor Park Oval yesterday, and certainly one of the outstanding features of the game was the unearthing of several players in the young brigade that are going to be a real force in football in the north. And Launceston and City fought out a tremendous battle yesterday, and the feature of the game was the fact that these younger players, many times during the game, came to the fore and were actually the leaders for both of their teams, and leaving behind some of the veterans in showing the way that the game should have been played. I thought Launceston's opening quarter was a tremendous one for them, a great confidence builder. They had many stars. Of course, Cremascothan and Bailey were a mighty combination from centre to half forward, and they had 2 very good players on the forward line in Parker and Thurlow, who worked very well together. And I think that Parker in particular has got a real future in NTFA football. He's only about 17 years old, this boy, but he's got a very good pair of hands, and I like the way that he thinks so quickly. If he's in a position with possession of the ball, he always looks for somebody further down the field. And yesterday, this was one of the instances where he converted for the Blues, but also gave away 2 or 3 goals, and certainly a bright future for that boy. I thought that Thomas in the centre of the ground for City, the ruckman, and Big Burke, this tall, thin fellow, for Launceston, had a great duel, and Thomas held sway early, but not for very long, because Burke, with a lot of endeavour, by the second quarter, had started to jump higher than Thomas, and also the great asset that he has got, of course, is he covers the ground with great mobility from back to forward to lend a hand to his teammates. He's got great skills, this boy, and it's a pity probably that he's been out of senior football for the length of time that he has. But certainly it was a great battle early with himself and Thomas, but the running players of Launceston on the ground were the men that did the damage, and I like the way that they kicked the ball direct. Their inaccuracy was costly early. They had 5-10 for the first quarter, and with a lead of 26 points, it could well have been a lot more. For City, well, I feel that the younger boys that came out in the second quarter, Pryor on the wing and half forward, was a tremendous player for them. He gave a lot of inspiration to his teammates, and his 3 goals for the quarter gave them the confidence to build up a good score in this particular term. And at one stage in the second quarter, they looked as if they would drag the Blues back and take the lead. And really, it was this part of the game where Burke and Stoward became a dynamic combination, and they really accepted the challenge and did a lot of work for Launceston to hold that lead at half-time, Ray.
Yes, here's one of the destructive players, particularly in the first half, was Patrick Bailey. He was able to create space for himself, as you saw there. He received from Cremascothan, who was also a very, very good player, and gave his forwards many, many opportunities in that first half particularly.
Yes, he demolished Wells. Richard Wells is a very good player and a very strong player, and a persistent player. But yesterday, Bailey's skill, especially in marking ability, demolished Wells and forced John Greening to make the change at half-back.
But full marks to City, because they came back. They were trailing by something like 34 points in that second quarter. They came back to get within a goal of Launceston, and it was the younger players and not their more established players that got them in that position, Wilkie.
Yes, well, Pryor and Egan were 2 of the boys, and Lay was another fellow that lended quite a big hand, and I thought that Pearden on the wing, Michael Pearden, number 17, was an excellent player for them as well in the second quarter, and these players with Shepherds, the Shepherd brothers, Darren, Shane and also Glenn, coming to the fore although I do feel that, unfortunately for City, the Shepherd boys are inclined to be a bit short in their game, and I do feel that there's a lot of improvement left in Glenn Shepherd. I think that he'd be probably disappointed with his performance yesterday. Got great skills, this fellow, and great ability, and I think that he's got to really grit the teeth and perform.
I thought one of the major factors behind City's 7-goal burst in that second quarter to get them within range of Launceston was the fact that Thomas started to get the ball out of the centre until Burke was brought into the ruck.
Well, I disagree slightly there, Ray. I thought that Burke from about the 10-minute mark, City got their goals quick. They kicked 6 in about 8 minutes or 9 minutes, and I thought then that Burke really he asserted great authority in the centre and took over, and Stoward was a player I felt played particularly well all day, and he was a great backup for Burke when the ball came to the ground. But they had a lot of running players, the Blues. Krimiscoth, and I felt went out of the game in the second quarter. Unfortunately, he was on the ground, on the road side of the ground.
I think full marks to John Greening in that regard because they bypassed him.
Well, that may have been the case, but I think probably that the ball was more normally going around the outer side of the ground than coming up the road side of the ground. And Krimiscoth had a great deal of inactivity in the second quarter. But certainly the lesson was learnt by Kerry Sanders, because Kerry placed Krimiscoth where all the action was in the last half of the game.
Let's ask Kerry. Kerry, you must have been a bit disappointed when Steen went out of the game in that vital period of the second quarter.
He went out of the game twice during the game for about a period of 5 to 10 minutes. It was worrying. In actual fact, he swapped wings 3 times during the match so we could keep him in the game, mainly because of his marking.
Did you swap the wings, or was it John Greening that swapped the wings and you followed?
I think it was like yo-yo, actually. They were all running backwards and forwards across the ground, the wingers.
John, did you feel that Krimiscoth was the danger man for City at that stage?
I think he took 3 opponents on and beat them all, but at the same time his opponents, the Peardons and the Blaze, put in and did a good, at least put in and kept going. He's a good player, that young fellow on the wing. Good player.
Where did you feel, what was the main, where did you feel that City got the drive to bring them back into that second quarter?
Oh, the drive, maybe, Tomo. He disappoints me a bit, Tomo. He's not marking him on the ground, but he did direct traffic a bit in the centre, and we used the ball reasonably well that second quarter. Shepherds, yes, they contributed. I think everybody lifted. They had to lift. You can't stay down, and they had a flurry in the first quarter, and they kicked straight. Well, the game may have been over, but full credit to our back line.
You say you lifted, but I think that there was one major factor behind that. That was young Pearton. He showed a lot of devil, a lot of pace, and went in most cases, where angels fear to tread.
Oh, yes, he certainly got a lot of courage, and I think they're all goers to see South this year. We got beaten by 11 points, and I don't like losing any time. It's 4 points we've lost, but we haven't lost any face at all. And we've got McIntyre to come back on the side. We've got Haitley and possibly one other player in Trevor Marsden. Now, that's going to improve the side. We haven't played well. We didn't play that well at all, and we've only been by 11 points. So the lack of experience in the last quarter was very costly.
Yet one of your younger players at the side gave tremendous drive all day. He's only a splinter. There's nothing of him, but my word, he played well. That was young Pryor, Mark Pryor.
He's given every week to date, and I think he's a very, very capable footballer. Very good indeed, and put a little bit of meat on his body and could take a trip across the water.
John, would you think that possibly Kenny Beaumont's one of the most skillful players in the north now? He's a tremendous player, he's Beaumont, but do you feel that possibly having Kenny Beaumont as a half-forward flanker and having periods of the game where he is going to be not in where the action is, it could pay to move him even as a ruck rover or on the roving division?
Well, I don't think he's a ruck rover at all. He's been a very successful footballer on the forward line. He's kicked, as you've seen, he can kick a goal from anywhere. Kenny Beaumont was very disappointing yesterday, and I'll say that now, and he knows that, and he's got to do a lot more. And they say, oh, maybe he was out of the play, but you've got to put yourself into the bloody play, don't you?
Well, the thing is, if he's on a half-forward flank and he's playing positional football, which is one of the assets of a player on the forward line, he can be out of the play for a long time.
I've given him. He's such a talented player that he's got he can roam anywhere in that forward line, and he should be able to cut them apart with his talent. Well, he just sat round yesterday, and I was very disappointed in him. But I tell you what, it's not going to happen again.
No,
Well,
he's a great player.
Well, whilst John was bitterly disappointed with some of the performance of his players, Kerry, on the other hand, you must have been ecstatic with the performance of Big Berkey, Robert Burke.
Well, he played quite well, Ray. He's come back after a year in the amateurs. He's done very well in the ruck, I think, because he's so mobile.
Yes.
If you watched him yesterday, a couple of times he even rode to his own taps. And I think that his pace and his keenness to do so well overcame Thomas yesterday, and I think that was a big factor. He's still very stereotyped in the way he does his ruck work, and that has to change, but we've still got a lot of improving to do.
And there were a couple of other younger players who played very well in the last quarter when that pressure was really on, when City looked like coming back. Harris at fullback and Andrew Parker.
They're that's the thing that I think we got out of the game, was our tenacity, our tackling, and the way we're able to come back from pressure. Naturally pleased to get a win, with more improvement to come, that we were able to come back under pressure. City got in front there at one stage by a couple of points, and we were still able to come back, and as I said to John earlier, that it was better to have won a close game than to have won or lost by a big margin.
One thing I'd like to say at this stage, and I don't know whether you would agree with me, but I thought the standard of the game yesterday was absolutely first class, particularly so early in the season, and I thought it was particularly well handled by the umpires, and they contributed to the success of the game yesterday.
Very much so. We probably had two of the best umpires in the NTFA yesterday, and they contributed to the game, and I think with John, the way he's coaching his boys and the way I want my fellows to play, the longer kicking game lends itself to a good brand of football.
Long kicking is the essence at Windsor Park, Kerry, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
John's talking about players that he's got to come back into his side, yet there's a fella sitting right next to you there now who would probably be the biggest asset to any side if he could come back, and that's Todd Lewis.
That's right, and we've probably got four others to come back in as well.
Who have you got?
We've got Lewis, O'Donoghue, Curran from Melbourne. Peter Frank's got a clearance from Wynyard to come in, a robust rover. I can't remember. Oh, Peter Scott is back training again, so 5 senior players to come into the side.
How does that grab you, John?
Sounds exciting. You can put them up, we'll take them on.
Well, Todd, when do you reckon you'll be right?
Well, hopefully in about 4 weeks, Ray. The ankle's coming along okay now, and I'm certainly looking forward to get back in. It's not much fun watching.
Not much fun watching yesterday. What was your opinion of the game?
Well, I was very pleased. I was pleased that the game finished. I had an enormous headache from sitting next to Kerry all day shouting, but the boys played very well. They, as Graham said, the younger guys played very well, and in the last quarter, a few of the experienced players, Francis Woolley and Paul Ellis, came into their own, and that, with the enthusiasm of the younger players, certainly it looks like we're going to have a very good year down there. You know, we've got depth in the club, and we haven't had that for 2 years or 3 years probably. So
it's a very closely knit club at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. The guys are keen to do well. I think losing last year's first semi-final was demoralising as far as the guys went. We were very disappointed after that game, and I think they're prepared now to work a bit harder, to get together, and to go a little bit further this year, and we've got the right attitude to do it.
Can I throw this back to you now, John? You had a very good opening round against East Launceston, although on East's form against Scottsdale yesterday, maybe that scoreboard at Youngtown may have flattered you somewhat. What's in store for the players this week?
A lot of hard work, I should imagine. East Launceston are not a bad side. It's early days yet, isn't it?
Sure.
Still early days. I think that all the clubs are trying to find their feet.
But City are hungry for success. They haven't had success for a long time, and they're hungry for it.
We'll be there. I've got no doubt that side will improve, and we've talked here this afternoon as if we've been thrashed. Well, we're operating on about 2 pistons or 2 cylinders, and there's another 6 or 7 to come here.
Good. Well, where's that improvement going to come from?
It's going to come in the Beaumonts, the Thomas is marking around the ground, and the fact that we'll have Marsden hopefully in the side, a very good player, and McIntyre, 10 goals, 7 against East. Well, that's a big hole to fill, isn't it?
Okay, so
you can't let a kid do that and expect him to kick 10-7.
So you're disappointed about yesterday's performance, but hope for a good season.
Oh yes, we're looking. Oh well, look, we'll be there.
Good on you, Kerry. How do you view the season?
As John said, it is early days. We were pleased to get the first couple of wins under our belt. We've still got a lot of improving to do. It's taken a while to try and get Launceston out of a short kicking type game, and I've spent a lot of time with their tackling and their smothering and their defensive skills as well, and it's still going to take us a while, but as I said, we're basically looking at the moment to be in the top 3. I think if we can get third, first, second or third with a top 5, I think that's most important, and that's what we're basically looking at now.
And with the advent of those 4 or 5 other players to come to the side in the next 3 to 4 weeks, there's a lot more improvement. It puts pressure on those players already in the side, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's what they realise, and I think that's what's making the young fellows probably play that little bit harder than what they normally would and what they did last year and probably the year before. We didn't have the depth, there was no pressure from reserves players, and consequently the club were bringing up under 19s, but looking in hindsight, perhaps it was the right thing, because there's 5 or 6 under 19 players still playing in the seniors.
OK, let's now have a look at some of the edited highlights from yesterday's big game at Windsor Park, the clash between Launceston and City South. Set themselves, misjudged the ball there, was Cook. Here's a chance for John Greening, brushing off one tackle, gathers in the ball, directs play over the other side of the ground with the left boot. Oh, great mark. Strong mark there for Launceston. This has been taken by Darren Davies. Coming off the back line, though, was Brand for Launceston. And City South breaking down at this present stage across that half-forward line. Here's Cook again, shrugs off one tackle, got plenty of time to steady, drives the ball up towards the half-forward line with his left boot. The player dropped there where he might well have taken in the back. Yes, it is, and Bailey is pushed in the back. Patrick Bailey moving in. Puts boot the ball. Has he steered it? He has. Straight through the centre. That's Steen Tremiscoten, state squad player. And there's a raking torpedo punt kick up towards the half-forward line. Oh, great mark. Fine mark taken by Bassett for City South. Bassett once again favouring the outer side. Players set themselves, getting high. Tremiscoten, strong mark. It's been intercepted by Pryor. He hand passes to Shepherd. Shepherd from the half-forward line kicks the ball up towards the goal square and through for a goal to City South. Driving the ball up towards the half-forward line. Oh, great mark, Bailey! But he's unable to control the ball. Tubb burst clear for City South. Kicking uncontrolled up towards the half-forward line. Good play here by Pryor. His hand pass, though, is finding a player running in towards the goal, which is Egan. Egan's kick going up towards the square and through. Here's Tubb. His kick this time favouring the inner side of the ground. Getting high. Oh, great mark. Magnificent mark has been taken by Bassett once again. Off the hands of the pack. Here's a chance for Bailey. Left puts the ball over towards the full forward line. Furlow drops what he should well have taken. Here's a chance for Atkins. Atkins picked up the loose ball, right in the goal square, and puts it through for a badly needed goal to the Blues. Then drives the ball for City South right up towards the half-forward line. Players coming across. Oh, magnificent mark by Tony Brand. And he doesn't waste any time either. Hand passes to a teammate on the half-back line. Up they go. And Burke takes another beauty for Launceston. Half-forward line, players getting high. Great mark once again. Taken by Terry Lucas for Launceston. Twisting and turning. Can the little fellow gain balance? He does so, but it's up towards the edge of the goal square. Setting themselves. Oh, nearly a great mark taken by Thurlow. Goes on with play. Tremiscoten hooks the ball over his head. Oh, a great goal by Steen Tremiscoten. Stour doesn't waste any time. A two-man duel between Thurlow and Bassett. Loose ball comes Peter Bailey. Bailey shoots from about 15 metres out and puts through another one for the Blues. He's under pressure from Kenny Beaumont. Here's Pearson coming to lend support for City South. Runs very close to the boundary line. Good decision there by the boundary umpire. Chance here once again for Beaumont. He gains possession from the half-forward line. Kicks the ball up towards the full-forward line. Oh, great goal there by Ken Beaumont.
Atkins long kick looking for Bailey up in the forward line. The ball was not clear. The ball running clear now in the goal square. Trying to kick the ball off the ground there for Launceston. And being successful in doing so there was Andrew Parker. Shepherd drives the ball deep towards the full forward line. Beaumont in front. The Crimmin from behind. Beaumont stands his ground but wasn't paid the mark. Picked up and snapped for goal by Pryor rather, and he's put it through for a great goal. Shepherd a swing onto the left foot and drives City South forward. It comes down to his brother Darren Shepherd. He eludes one player. Swings onto his right foot and about to drive City deep into attack. Here's the long kick. Dropping back there was Harris. He couldn't take the mark. The ball comes clear, paddled along the ground. Here's a chance by City South. A great goal kicked by Pryor. There's a kick out from Harris, the Launceston fullback. The ball out on the half-back position, and a great mark has been pulled in there by Pryor once again.
Moyer's kick going up towards the forward line. Chance here once again through for City South through Pryor. He gathers in the loose ball off the half-forward line, and there's another goal to the youngster. Great play.
Shepherd with a hand pass out wide finds Purton. Burton with a hand pass now. He's going to find another Shepherd. Shepherd on the half-forward line. He paddles around with the ball. Breaks clear of the pack. Goes for a short pass back towards centre half-forward. And he's found his teammate there in Darren Shepherd. Darren Shepherd with a chance to put City South in front. 20-minute mark of the second quarter. And he comes. There's the kick from Shepherd. Umpire running across, but looks okay. It's another goal to City, and they hit the front. Bailey's mark strongly, plays on. Possibly should have held up at that stage. The ball comes back to Parker again. He drives towards goal, and that's his second. A great goal there, kicked by Parker.
Get in here by Stoward. Long hand pass finds Bailey. Bailey in turn finds Burke. Can he shrug off the tackle? He doesn't. Kick short here towards Parker. Hand pass out here towards Ellis. Ellis kicks from only about 20 metres out from goal, and it didn't look good, but it got maximum result. Another goal to the Blues.
There's the kick from the City South defender up towards centre half forward. The big men fly. Coming across the back strongly there was Lucas. Lucas with a drop punt kicked up towards goal. It's just offline, but Burke from the side has taken a great mark. In comes Burke. The banana kick looks good. It is. It's a goal to Robert Burke from the boundary line. There's the kick, the drop punt out towards the centre wing. Burke in front. Coming from behind was Beaumont, and he's taken a screamer across the back of the pack. He finds Woolley. Launceston creating the loose man. He goes out wide looking for Cremascothan. Cremascothan couldn't take the ball, and taken away here by Mike O'Keefe. He's taken two bounces. He's going for a third. Coming in to shepherd him off well there was Richard Wells for City South. The kick is a poor one, back towards Lay. Lay finds O'Keefe going back past, but Woolley with experience takes the ball away. He goes in short, finds Stoward, and Launceston Rover at centre half forward has received the ball. He goes for a hand pass on, looking for Cook. Cook from only 35 metres out from goal, bangs it home. A good goal to Launceston. Davies tries to hold the mark. He plays on. They're cool under pressure, Launceston. It comes out to Bailey again, and this time he holds the ball, and a free kick further down the field. He finally comes towards the grandstand side of the ground. It comes here to Tubb. Tubb from behind. He's taken a strong mark over Ellis. Beaumont called very quickly there as he went past for City South. Classy play by Beaumont. He gets it out to Pearton. Pearton back inside. A hand pass looking for Beaumont. Beaumont grabs it, ducks in, ducks around another player. Very good play by Beaumont. He takes the bounce and races away from his Launceston opponent. Been given the instruction from Beaumont to kick the ball long, and he's done just that. Egan will fly from behind. Comes clear to Beaumont, taken off the hands of the pack by Shepherd, and he's banged it home for a goal. The injured Mark Stout has marked the ball, only 35 metres out from goal for Launceston. There's the kick, the drop punt. It floats across the pack from behind, and Burke. A great mark taken by the big ruckman. Cross with the kick in towards the half-back flank. Cremascothan in front. He drops to the back, and he's taken another mark. Woolley. He drives the ball long towards centre half forward. Bailey comes out in front. He gets up from behind. He's taken a screamer. He avoids one play and then drives the long torpedo punt towards the half forward line. Coming through from the side was Ellis, and he's taken a screamer in front of the pack. Over the shoulder, and it's gone to Pryor. His hand pass comes inside. City South being driven forward once again down towards the goal line. It's close. Yes, it's a goal. All Ellis has taken the mark on the half-forward line. He goes for a short pass inside. Two or three players overrun it. Here's the chance for the Launceston forward. In Sorlow, and he's kicked it along the ground for a goal.
In that game yesterday for the Blues, Atkins and Bailey had 3 apiece. Thurlow and Parker and Cremascothan kicked 2 goals. And for the Redlegs, Darren Shepherd got 4, Pryor got 3, and Egan and Beaumont got 2 goals apiece. The better players for the Blues were Burke, Stoward, Bailey, Brand, Cremascothan and Parker. And for the Redlegs, Pearden, Pryor, Lay, Darren Shepherd and Craig Bassett. Right, I gave my 3 votes yesterday to Mark Stoward for a tremendous performance of roving. I thought he was one of the players that really kept the Blues in commission all day and had a most consistent game for them. I gave 2 votes to Burke for a tremendous game in the ruck, and I gave 1 vote to Cremascothan of the Launceston team for a wonderful exhibition on the wing.
I wouldn't advise you to go to Youngtown at any time this week. There was not one City South player mentioned in that 3, 2 and 1.
Well, you've got to call them as you see them, Ray, and I think that you'd have to be a pretty dyed-in-the-wool red-leg supporter to think that those 3 players, if they weren't in that order, they were the 3 outstanding players on the ground, and you've got to call them as you see them.
Kerry, would you agree with that summary of Graham's?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for coming up, Kerry. On behalf of Clary and Billy out there at Rutherglen, there's a voucher there for a Sunday smorgasbord. Take the family up.
Thanks, Ray.
And enjoy it. But you've also got a very big day up there today,
Yeah, we've
haven't
got
you?
a very big benefit on today for a young under-19 boy that became a paraplegic this year as a result of a motorbike accident. It's a big day for us, for Jeffrey Taylor down there. We hope a lot of supporters and a lot of people around the club get down there to raise some money for him.
You've got some Victorian players coming
Yeah,
in?
Dale Waitman's come over from Richmond. He's down there now.
He's taking the place of Brian Taylor.
Brian Taylor was reported twice, so we didn't expect to get Brian today.
But Dale's coming over.
Yes,
Dale's over there.
Dale's over, yes.
Todd, the same for you at dinner for two out there for the Brother Glenn Sunday smorgasbord. I know that you'll enjoy it out there. Take the better half or whatever it is, I don't know. But
Thanks, mate.
good on you. And John, very the same to you too. On behalf of Clary up there at Brother Glenn, if you'd like to accept that on behalf of them for Sunday smorgasbord, any Sunday.
Thanks, Ray.
Now, you've also got a big night next Sunday night. Saturday night.
I think it's next Saturday night. I'm not too sure if it's back to the 40s night or back to the 50s, but bring your leather jackets and your jeans. It's City South, the social club. All the players will be there and their wives and girlfriends or both. And it's going to be an exciting night next Saturday night after we beat Longford, of course. And it's about $3 to get in. It's back to 40s, greasing the hair, whatever you like. It's
Well, the blue suede shoes. Wilkie,
I'm ready to go. I'll go straight out, Ray. I got all the goodies here too to give the boys.
Right,
and,
there you go.
Got the Magic and Milky Bar, Ray, to give to the fellas. One for you, Kerry, down there, and Todd. And also we've got some crunch. You better take that out the city, and maybe they can get a bit of punch with some crunch. My old mate Johnny here, and there's some. Look, there's more riches here, Ray, in this club chocolate than Ali Baba's cave. Fair dinkum, I tell you. Take those with you, fellas, and I think that'll kick you right on. Actually, I'm one of their star men, and I tell you what, it's a great product. That's one of the key products of Australia, that club chocolate. And
even Professor Sumner read it, doesn't he, do a bit?
well, it's more than the glass. There's more than the glass and a half in that, I tell you, Ray. And
I've got to balance it up somehow.
well, you'll have Artie and
performing the experiment
Artie
today,
and
though.
Graham bringing up here. They'll be up shortly, but still. I'd like to mention also, Ray, that Darryl Green's got a function on it. The Duke of Deloraine, he's got a function on it.
You have a big one up there next Saturday night, won't he, with Deloraine and Georgetown playing there?
He'll be sort of catch the Cobb and Co coach. I think they get in from Deloraine in time for the back to the 50s night, but he'd be a good performer, the cat.
Oh, my
He's a great player of the past, Darryl Green, and he's a great Elvis Presley man, so he'd be well in
Good choice.
up there.
Good choice.
But he's got a function at the hotel out at Deloraine. Lionel Rose, the world champion, ex-world champion, of course, is coming over to do a sort of a song and dance routine and to raise finance. And anybody that's interested, they can get their tickets from the Deloraine Hotel or in town here from Ricky Shears or Badger Lutford at the Enfield. It'll be a great night. And
There's a big lineup.
Deloraine.
Thanks very much. Well, after that bunch of commercials, we'll pause for just a few moments. We'll be back in a moment with the goal and the mark of the day. Goal kickers in the NTFA after yesterday's round of games. We've got Patrick Bailey of Launceston on 11, Craig McIntyre of City South, who didn't play yesterday, but after his 10 in the first round, he's up there in second placing. We have Jordan of North Launceston, that's Larry Jordan, and Walker of Longford on 8, and also Peter O'Keefe of Georgetown is not on there, but Peter is in there, and hopefully he'll be up a little bit higher after the game against Deloraine next week. Now, the NTFA ladder, as we said, after yesterday's round of games, Launceston on top with 8, Scottsdale 8, Longford on 8, then North Launceston on 4, City South on 4, and Georgetown, East Launceston and Deloraine just outside the 5. And our voting, our Channel 9 and Answer Their Lines voting, on top for a $500 in cash, the return trip for 2 to Surfers Paradise, and the magnificent accommodation provided up there by Answer Their Lines of Australia. And David Byrne of Longford is the leader on 5, from Steen Cremascothan of Launceston on 4. That's our NTFA Best and Fairest Award. And now let's have a look on behalf of Mensland at some of the great goals which were kicked yesterday in the clash at Windsor Park.
Some of the goals from our match of the day. Jared Egan for City South from half forward. Malcolm Atkins, a left foot snap. Steen Cremascothan repeats the dose. Ken Beaumont on the run, a long goal from half forward for City South. Quick thinking by Mark Pryor and another red leg goal. Pryor again, this time soccer style. A lot of messing around, but finally a goal to the Blues from Paul Ellis. And the goal of the day, City South's Mark Pryor. Reads the play off the pack, puts boots a ball, and goals. Mark Pryor, goal of the day.
And a great performance by the young fellow, Mark Pryor. He's only a sprint, as we say, but he was one of the main driving forces behind City South's comeback in that second quarter. And Mark, on behalf of our men's land store, distributors right throughout northern Tasmania, Stylemaster Menswear at Georgetown, Neil Pitts of Launceston, his nibs up there at Devonport, Farmers Limited of Burnie, and Vincent's Men's and Boys Wear at Ulverston. There'll be a voucher coming your way, Mark, and you'll be the recipient of one of these magnificent shirts. These are the beautiful glow weave shirts. They're the two-tone style, and they've become very, very fashionable. This one at the moment is the red and white colours. Very appropriate too for City South, isn't it, mate? I picked that out last week.
Well, you've got great déjà
Got good
vu.
taste, haven't I?
You've got terrific taste, Ray.
Got déjà vu.
Yeah, you must have known it was coming on this week, the City game.
Must have, yeah. But that's the men's the glow weave shirt. Beautiful style it is too. And Craig, Mark, I'll be up there at Youngtown during the week for you, presenting you with that voucher, and you can pop into Neil Pitts, your nearest men's lane store, and pick yourself up a lovely shirt that probably Mum will guide you as far as your taste is concerned. Okay, that's our goal of the day. In a moment, we'll be back with the mark of the day.
First up, red leg, Craig Bassett. Launceston's Patrick Bailey. Tony Brand for Launceston, great mark. Then Robert Burke grabs a beauty. Terry Lucas pulls down a strong grab. Mark Pryor took marks as well as kicking goals. Now Kenny Beaumont marks strongly. Launceston's Robert Burke, another of his many marks. And Patrick Bailey from behind. Tough choice, but the mark of the day, City South's Craig Bassett. Falling backwards, grabs it, knocks it up with his leg and into his arms. Mark of the day, Craig Bassett.
Well, City may have lost the game against Launceston yesterday, but they got the goal of the day and the mark of the day. And a great mark there by Craig Bassett, who gave City very, very good service yesterday. And Craig, in the appropriate colours of red and white from your nearest men's lane store, which again in your case will be Neil Pitts of Launceston, you can pick up these magnificent glow weave shirts. They're the two-tone ones, the white collar and the red base, and whatever suits you. But that shirt there will be there for you. And incidentally, over the next couple of weeks, as soon as the Union commence their competition just the week after Easter, we'll be presenting for you a competition for our viewers in which they may be able to win a $1,000 wardrobe from your nearest men's lane store. And in today's high prices, a $1,000 wardrobe is certainly worth it to you. So your 5 men's lane stores, I'll repeat them once again: Stylemaster Menswear of Georgetown, Neil Pitts of Launceston, his nibs at Devonport, Farmers Limited of Burnie, and Vincent's Men's and Boys Wear of Ulverston have brought to you the mark and the goal of the day.